I wasn't planning to make this video, but this is for Scorpio. See, this morning while I was dropping my daughter off at school, I Bet came on the radio by Ciara. And for those of you who are not familiar with that song was written at a time when Ciara was really struggling with trying to find love. Okay, she has her Venus in Libra, so marriage, love, like the idea of commitment and building a life with somebody is very important to her. In fact, her whole life, it's probably something she's wanted. Ciara is a Scorpio stellium, okay? One of the things about Scorpio is that when they love you and they're in love, they give their all to the love. So whenever their all is given and they're met with betrayal or a return of less than what they gave, it hurts them very deeply. It's very deeply humbling. If you have Scorpio in your 10th house or your Scorpio stellium or sun, moon, and rising, you experience this. Like Scorpio doesn't know how to titrate their love to give you cheap love or low value love. It's all or it's nothing. It's I'm willing to die for you and I love you now and for all of eternity, or I just don't mess with you, and that's the end of it. So she had faced huge betrayal, public humiliation behind a lover that she thought was the real deal, and she wrote this song, I Bet, and I want you to go in and listen to it. The vulnerability in that song, she's like, you bought me a car. He can buy a car too. I can take care of myself and find someone else to take care of me. You act like you upgraded me, but I upgraded you. Me and you, Fashion Week in Paris. I did that. But you took advantage. You took advantage. You took advantage. I can never understand it. I can never understand it. I can never understand it. She's just like so hurt. She doesn't understand how you can give your all to somebody and they could just abuse it, It made me cry listening to it this morning in the car, and I forgot like the tenderness of that song. And it made me look up her chart. I didn't know she was a Scorpio stellium until that moment. I didn't know she was a Libra Venus until that moment. It was my tears rolling down my face that made me look at her chart from this song I was listening to. So Scorpio, stellium especially, or 10th house, I need you to know the betrayals are there to break you down so you can get closer to spirituality, okay? A lot of people say, oh, I want the Ciara prayer because when she left that situation, she went and she found her husband now. They have all these kids. She's living a very happy life. You can tell that every time you look at her. She's dancing, she's silly, she's fun. A woman that is in her divine feminine energy is playful. She's happy, okay? Because she doesn't have to be in warrior time. Scorpio is not supposed to be in war zone all the time. Scorpio is supposed to choose when it's time to go to war and when it's just an annoying little fly that you can just, or just let it fly around, But a lot of Scorpios, at the slightest annoyance, they're ready to bring all the weapons out. And oftentimes that's how they self-destroy. Here's another example of a Scorpio stellium who did just that. Drake, before I say what I have to say, I want to apologize to you for what's happened to you. Because even though I enjoy the song, I enjoy the bop, because I know how Gemini is, okay? There's parts of me that's still thinking, well, what if he's actually not someone that dates underage people? We don't know. I don't know Drake. But I do hear that the implication of the song is that you're somebody who engages in that kind of behavior. And if that's actually not the truth, this anthem has taken over the world and it's painted you in a negative light as a result. Now, what started that was you messing with that man's wife. You could have not done that, because those of us that have spouses and people in our lives that we love intimately, romantically, you can't come for our loved ones and think it's going to be sweet. You need to know that. And I know you're not married and you don't have a wife or whatever, somebody in your life that intimately, but you need to know that those of us that live on the other side that are in partnership, we don't play about our people. That's why we chose them, okay? So if you want to beef with another man, that's fine, beef with them. But when you bring their wife and their kids in it, You changed the landscape of that war. So you were not ready for the ruthlessness of Gemini when you decided to mock this man. No, never mind, this man is a Nobel Prize winner. That should already have been a red flag, right? You decided to mock this man. In one of your songs, you talked about how there's a lyric where you said, Kendrick opened his mouth, somebody should give him an award. Well, now the universe has rewarded him with 5, not 1, but 5 awards for a diss track that he wrote against you after he literally destroyed your persona in front of the public. And how did this happen? Because you put into the atmosphere that his voice was not worthy of anything. That's pretty much what you meant when you said, Kendrick just opened up his mouth, someone should give him an award. That's what that means. That means Kendrick's voice is useless. He's never going to win an award. And I don't know why he thinks every time he speaks, the world should stop. Nobody cares. At least that's what I heard. I don't know if that's what you meant, but that's what I heard. Okay? So when you put that kind of energy in the atmosphere, one thing you and Ciara have in common is that you're both Scorpio stelliums. Scorpio is the alchemist of the zodiac. Scorpio gets everything that they want when they choose what they want very carefully and they focus on it. So when you did that, something happened. And what happened was the opposite. Because here's the thing. Ciara was betrayed, just like you probably felt betrayed, which is why you decided to start beefs. That's why people do, right? When they're angry, it's because somebody hurt you, somebody betrayed you. Ciara took her pain and her vulnerability and made a beautiful song and talked about her pain. She didn't say, you will never be anything because you hurt me. She didn't tell that man, I'm going to be better than you. I'm going to have a better life than you, because she's not God. She doesn't know what the future holds. So she played her cards a little close to her chest by not even speaking about his future. Although, as a Scorpio stellium, she probably sensed that she was going up and he was going down, but she didn't speak on it. She just let God show the world what was going to happen. And she just said how she felt and what she thought was going to happen, unfortunately, to him down the line. See, that's honesty, that's vulnerability, that's sensitivity. But then you just decided to tell that man that he was voiceless. He's a Gemini, ruled by the planet of communication. If you knew anything about astrology, you would have known that. Like, Gemini's, that's the last person in the universe you want to have a war of words with in the entire universe. Pick anybody but a Gemini. And look at where we're at now. Now you're suing your record label. The same people that made you big is who you're suing. It's not making sense. You know, Scorpio is more strategic. Scorpio is more controlled. Scorpio is powerful because they hold back. I need you to know you are undefeated. You are unbreakable. This situation right here, yes, it's embarrassing, but it's not the end of you. It's not going to kill you. Learn the lesson. There's some spiritual lessons here to learn, and then allow those lessons to shape you. Look at Ciara. She learned her lesson, and do you see how the universe is rewarding her? You too can learn your lesson and allow the universe to reward you. Her Pluto is in Scorpio. She needed to learn control of her sexuality. Once she controlled it and reserved it for one man, look at what happened to her. It's the same message for you. All Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising Stellium, I need you all to focus on controlling your creative powers, because creativity and sexuality are intertwined, okay? The energy you put out there in the universe is the same one coming back to you. So when people hurt you, don't spread more negativity in the world. Yes, you can express yourself, but don't ever play God in somebody's life, because that will always backfire. I promise you that. As a Scorpio 10th house, this is something I've always known. This is why I have a lot of self-control.